If you're in the continental United States, and specifically in the Midwest and Northeast, I'm sure you're aware, but for those who don't live in the US or around those affected areas, we're about to be hit with a massive blizzard and ice storm this weekend, January 23rd to the 26th. For those in the Northeast, specifically in the New York tri state area where I'm from, we really haven't had a massive blizzard or snowstorm, for that matter, in a long time. Ever since the 90s and early 2000s, it felt like winter and the holiday season didn't feel like winter. For some, that's a good thing. They hate winter. For those who are adults, it means going to work with crappy, impossibly dangerous conditions, uncomfortable layers just to keep warm and dry, and having to shovel snow to get to your car. Also, the aftermath when the snow stops. The beautiful scene of fresh snow in the city turns into a gray or yellow gunk or slush, making getting around the city an Olympic feat unto itself. For others, especially kids, at least for me growing up, I loved winter and snow days. We watched the news like if it was the NBA or NFL draft, watching and hoping our school was on the cancelled list. Kids these days don't have that feeling. They got remote school due to the infrastructure being implemented half-assedly, if I might add, during the pandemic in 2020. If we did have a snow day, you bet your ass we were outside and going sledding, having snowball fights, etc. Sometimes we would help our parents shovel snow. Or for those that had the hustle mentality from young, they would go shoveling out in the snow for the neighbors. After that, we would go home, have some hot cocoa, either watch TV, movies, or play some video games. I definitely play some video games while snowed in, which brings me to the topic of this video. Since the blizzard is going to be barreling upon us, I would like to reminisce and go through the top snow levels in video games that I have played, to put us in that wintry vibe feeling as we stay warm and hopefully de-stress and stay safe. This is the top snow levels in gaming that I feel are well designed and beautifully recreates the winter wonderland. The list is in no particular order. The Division 1 and Spider-Man Miles Morales. Since the blizzard is barreling down the Northeast, I think it's appropriate to start the list off with Tom Clancy's The Division. It takes place in New York City after a viral outbreak caused by a biological attack on Black Friday that causes New York City to shut down and be quarantined to help mitigate the spread of the virus. It is wintertime, so there's snow everywhere. The realism that the devs put in the game is amazing and somewhat eerie. Due to the fact that the game came out in 2016, and then 4 years later, we had COVID. It was a weird time. The winter setting made the game more immersive for me because I recognized every spot in the game. It was almost a one-to-one recreation of Manhattan. Every landmark I'd visited or been to in the city was here. Another game I want to squeeze into this spot because, why not? My list is Spider-Man Miles Morales. It takes place in New York City during Christmas time, so it's a perfect winter Christmas season game to play during the holidays. Battlefield Bad Company 2. Battlefield Bad Company 2 doesn't get its flowers that it deserves. It is one of the first games to have fully destructible environments, both for the story and for the multiplayer. That is unheard of during the Xbox 360 and PS3 days. I remember its missions taking place in the snow-covered mountains. It added to the harshness of the setting and urgency of the story. It was hard to see it move, plowing through the snow with your heavy gear. The story was amazing as well. I don't want to spoil too much, but your ragtag team is a blast to interact with. The Bad Company series needs to be brought back. What are you waiting for, EA? Oh, it's EA. They're allergic to anything good. Astrobot. Astrobot is one of those platformers that remind you of video games of the past. It has its fair share of snow and ice levels. The one that stands out to me is the God of War themed one, where you get to play and use the Leviathan axe and become the robot God of War. The art style and direction is so good. It makes you feel like you're in a happier version of God of War, possibly one where Faye was still alive. It's fun to go around and getting all the crows with your axe. It's definitely a must play while snowed in. Diddy Kong Racing. While I am more of a Mario Kart 64 kind of guy, I do gotta admit that Diddy Kong Racing is the far superior kart racer. Racing in Frost Village is just peak snow track level. The music track is a banger. You get to race in karts, planes, or hovercrafts. This was years before Mario Kart ever introduced vehicles other than karts. Hell, even driving over ice and water. It was ahead of its time. We were slipping and sliding on the track. Whoa, pause. No Diddy though. It's definitely a great track level to add to a snow list, and very memorable. What are you waiting for, Nintendo? Add it to the NSO. Or fucking remake Diddy Kong Racing. Damn.
Transport's time to escape.
Star
Take out
Wars,
those
Shadow
Imperial
of the
probe
Empire.
droids. Be careful not to shoot our own turrets.
I wasn't a huge fan of Star Wars growing up. I remember having Shadow of the Empire because it came bundled with my N64 when I got it for Christmas. I was about 7 or 8 years old when I got it. Now, having played a 3D game, I didn't know what to expect. I wasn't used to controlling 3D characters. I had no PC. I also hadn't played a Star Fox game at that point. So seeing the opening level of Shadow of the Empire in Hoth, holy shit. It was like flying around above the Arctic. It reminded me of documentaries I've seen about the North and South Pole, where the camera crew got aerial footage from planes. That is what it felt like when I played this for the first time. I was blown away that this was even possible. It felt like I was in this icy world. Now the second stage, well, let's say I more or less got the taste of how hard this game was. I also remember being scared. I know it wasn't a horror game, but I know I was too scared to keep playing. It was rated T for teen, but now that I'm older, I will definitely finish it this year. GoldenEye 007. When I think of first-person snow levels, GoldenEye 007 surface levels comes to mind. I was too young to understand the mechanics and objectives of the missions, but I roamed around trying to explore them and figure out what to do. Like if I was lost in the Arctic tundra, not knowing what I'll find. It looks very dated from today's standards, but in 1997, these were cutting-edge graphics. The limitations of the N64 I feel like add to the mystery of the levels. The draw distance limitation helps with the immersion. It was like a blizzard. You can't see that far into the distance. If you have some downtime and want a short game that you can beat during this blizzard weekend, GoldenEye 007 is your game. It's loads of fun, as well as the multiplayer. I have hours played with this with my cousins growing up. It is available on Nintendo Switch Online and Xbox Game Pass subscription, so that there is no excuse to play this gem. Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario 64. Super Mario Bros. 3 snow levels are a classic. While I did play it on NES, the ones that bring the most memory and instantly think of snow levels is the SNES All-Stars version of Super Mario Bros. 3. But it wasn't until the GBA remasters that I actually beat the game. Super Mario Bros. 3 is a must-play game, and the winter levels are just tons of fun. They also have ice physics, but I feel Donkey Kong Country did it better. If you're a Gen Z or Gen Alpha that has played all of the newer games, like Super Mario Wonder, I would highly recommend going back and playing the older games that paved the way for those games and levels that were put into games like Mario Wonder. If 2D isn't your jam, I think playing Super Mario 64 is another viable option with many different worlds and great snowy levels. Cool Mountain instantly comes to mind. You get to slide down and race a penguin. Collecting red coins are both tons of fun. It's great to find all its secrets. And I know you did it, I did it. We threw the baby penguin off the ledge. Metal Gear Solid 1 and Metal Gear Solid 4, Shadow Moses and the Return to Shadow Moses. The masterpiece that is the Metal Gear Solid series. Can't be a snow level list without it. We start the game out in the Alaskan nuclear disposal base, Shadow Moses, a rogue terrorist group only known as the Sons of Big Boss, one remains of Big Boss, the legendary soldier of Foxhound. We infiltrate the base and try to stop this group. The opening scene, our masterclass in storytelling and cinema, with the hardware at the time. Kojima created what quintessentially is one of the best games of all times. For a PS1 game, the graphics were amazing and the physics, and the attention to detail, like sneaking around and leaving fresh footprints on the snow. If the patrolling genome saw the footprints on the snow, they would be put into alert phase and begin searching the area for an intruder. This type of AI for NPC characters were rare for the late 90s, let alone PS1 hardware. What is better than the first level of Metal Gear Solid 1? Metal Gear Solid's 4th rendition of Shadow Moses. We return as Old Snake, with Jimmy and the team sneaking in callbacks and waves of nostalgia of the first Metal Gear on the PS1. There is a sense of melancholy and nostalgia as we play as Old Snake, running through the dilapidated world of Shadow Moses. Both him and the base aren't what they used to be. It's like seeing time pass and you see your parents start getting gray hairs and wrinkles. It hurts because there's nothing you can do about it. God of War 2018 and Ragnarok. The opening scenes of the reboot of God of War 2018 are immaculate. At this point, we have not seen Kratos, nor do we know his whereabouts since the ending of God of War 3, where we saw him impale himself to release the hope he absorbed in order to defeat Zeus. If you stayed to the end credits, we didn't see his body. We saw a trail of blood going towards the cliffs, and that was the end. Literally, the ending was a cliffhanger. It would be 8 long years for a sequel to come and show us Kratos again. We see a much older Kratos with a full beard, not a goatee. He is much older and has gray hairs. We see him contemplating, almost praying by a tree, the look of sadness. Then we glimpse down as he picks up a new weapon, the Leviathan axe. He begins chopping down the tree with a strange handprint margin. We see someone with him. Kratos has a son? He formed a family all these years, yet something's missing.
Get in the boat, boy.
Where's the mother? As we start piecing it together, we see it's a funeral. Kratos' wife, Faye, has just passed away. It's heartbreaking to see that Kratos is going through losing part of his family, once again. They cremate her as it's one of her dying wishes, for her ashes to be spread from the highest points of the realms. I feel like the winter setting adds to the already powerful scene in both 2018 and Ragnarok. It adds this sense of barren loneliness that winter sometimes provides, depression and grievance. Winter is often associated with death of nature, spring bringing the rebirth as trees and flowers grow back. They set off in the adventure. Kratos and Atreus grow and connect even more because of it. With this adventure, they set off the events to bring in the end of the Aces world, the Norse apocalypse, Ragnarok. In Norse mythology, hell, for them, is not this infernal place where you go if you've been a horrible person that you will burn off for all eternity. They believe it was an icy cold world, and God of War encapsulates it very well. Max Payne series. Max Payne takes place in New York City during the winter. We don't see the cool and beautiful winterland of some of the other entries. No, we see the one I described that happens after the snowstorm is gone. The grimy, slushy streets. Just as the streets in Max Payne 1 are messy and slushy with grime, Max goes into this criminal underworld to avenge his wife and his cop partner. The setting best shows the tone and the atmosphere and plot of the story. You are alone and cold. You must clear your name, as you are now the prime suspect of your partner's murder. The icy cold streets of New York City chews you up and spits you back out.
This was my second train
It's
ride
not
of
for
the
the faint of
night,
heart.
the way it started.
Donkey Kong Country snow levels. It wouldn't be a snow level list without some Donkey Kong Country levels. I can pick out almost any level from the various Donkey Kong games, like Donkey Kong Bonanza being the latest. Hell, even Tropical Freeze is a whole snow game. But I feel like that's too easy. I feel like the first Donkey Kong Country on the SNES gets the spot. It was the first to introduce it to the series. Be challenging, but fun, and also having ice sliding physics on the SNES. That is unheard of for a game that came out in 1994. This also holds a special place because, like I said in my intro, this would be the game that I would play during my snow days, after I come home from playing in the snow. The blizzard of 1996 to be more exact. That year was a brutal one. I would sit down with my parents and would also play. Those days seem nothing more than a distant memory now, and I hope to recreate it when I have kids. Modern Warfare 2. While Call of Duty and Call of Duty campaigns nowadays are just a joke and afterthoughts for Activision. There was a time where the devs actually cared about the quality of the story, the gameplay, and the pacing of Call of Duty campaigns. Modern Warfare 2 is arguably one of the best in the series, and its campaign is a fan favorite. The mission Cliffhanger was shown in an E3 during its reveal back in the late 2000s. I was blown away from what I saw. The set pieces, the stakes were even higher. The attention to detail using the low visibility of the oncoming blizzard in order to covertly infiltrate the base, using the cover to your advantage, and gear like the heartbeat monitor. These were new to the series. It also taught you strategies like using the heartbeat monitor in multiplayer. Damn campers using this with the heartbeat monitor and nuke tube to cheese their way to getting a nuke. It was new and fun. The Gulag mission is also noteworthy and fun. Going back to the Siberian tundra, where a gulag is located to break out the legendary Captain Price. The whole campaign is a roller coaster ride. It was a worthy follow-up to the already great campaign that was Call of Duty 4. Batman Arkham Origins. Batman Arkham Origins is criminally underrated, and I feel that it's often overlooked compared to its other Arkham games. This game wasn't developed by Rocksteady. Instead, it was made by WB Games, which is why I think it was overlooked, because it was made by another studio, and PC had a lot of bugs when it first came out. This is a prequel to the other Arkham games, taking place 1 year or 2 years after Bruce decides to become Batman. It also takes place during Christmas, so not only Gotham is covered in snow, it is also in the Christmas spirit with decorations. This is definitely a good game for the winter season, and also a good Christmas game. Super Mario Galaxy. Super Mario Galaxy has to be one of the best games of all times. Each galaxy has their own quirk and themes for it. Grassy levels, beach levels, but there are also icy galaxies to explore, and one of the best ones is Freeze Flame Galaxy. The level starts off with the icy world where you can get to the ice flower and just be able to skate over water. Using this power up to platform your way to the Power Star. As you progress through the level, things start to change, and we find out there's also magma in this world. The juxtaposition of fire and ice makes this level super fun. Using the ice flower to traverse the lava sections gives it an extra sense of urgency as the ice melts. The art direction here is top notch, definitely worth to play multiple times. Uncharted 2, Among Thieves. Uncharted 2's opening level starts with a bang. You wake up in a train cart dangling over the snow mountain edge, bleeding, cold. You start to wonder, what in the world is going on? How the hell did I get here? The train starts making noise and starts moving. Oh hell no, that's not good. It's time to get up top as soon as possible. This opening level has to be one of the best opening levels into a video game. Right off the bat, you're hit with action. This alone sets up the tone for the rest of the game. You're in for one hell of a ride. This is definitely an action-packed snow level. It's a roller coaster of set pieces. Literally, one snow level that's hard to forget. Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a must-play and a masterclass in storytelling. Rockstar are a master at their craft. The snowy mountains of the Red Dead Redemption 2 opening hours are amazing. It makes you feel like you're in the 1800s during the gold rush and expansion to the west. What it would have been like for those in the Oregon Trail, trying to traverse and survive the dangers of the Rocky Mountains. While for some, the first few hours of Red Dead Redemption 2 story drags on too long, or it's a slow build-up to get out of the tutorial stage. But I think it's a great intro sequence, story-wise. It encapsulates the feeling of survival and overcoming the adversities of the elements. Winter can sometimes feel like a drag, or that it lasts forever because the days are shorter and the nights are longer. In some places the sun doesn't even come out, causing cabin fever or seasonal depression because of the lack of sunlight. I feel like it adds to the already amazing story and atmosphere of the game. Phendrana Drifts, Metroid Prime 1 Remaster. Phendrana Drifts in Metroid is breathtaking. It's like you are transported to another icy world. The somber music makes it so much more immersive. It makes you feel like you're an explorer in unknown parts of the Antarctic. It's calm yet unsettling, the feeling of isolation. When you first step into Phendrana Drifts, we are met with the game's antagonist, Ridley, flying across the sky. We look up from the cavernous opening between the icy mountain walls, yet it just ignores us, giving us this intrigue of what is really going on in Fendrana. The deeper we go, the more of its secrets is revealed beyond its icy walls. I highly suggest playing Metroid Prime 1, especially the remaster, to experience this masterpiece of a game. I know I've missed a lot of snow levels and games, like Banjo-Kazooie, Skyrim. I just haven't played them yet. Let me know what are your favorite snow levels in video games. What games should I play? Please like, share, and subscribe for more gaming content. Please stay safe, stock up on stuff so that you don't have to go out if you don't have to. If you're watching this after the blizzard, how much snow did you get where you are? And if you didn't, let me know what you played during the weekend. This is the Pro Casual Gamer. Stay warm, stay safe, and see you all in the next video. Peace.